Hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf Collectibles. Well, I started this project probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, and at the time, as I started the project, I recorded my usual introduction video, and then the plan was to go and restore this loco and just, do a restoration video. I've now come back to record a retrospective because it hasn't gone particularly well, not just in the loco but also in the video. There's not a lot of continuity in the video and I'm not particularly happy with it. So I just thought I'd put this introduction in. I bought this at the Maidstone Toy Fair. I paid £20 for it. It's a die-cast body, non-runner, and yeah, as I say, the plan was to restore it. You'll see in the video, the first part of the video, I'm showing the loco and questioning what is it. Well, I now know it is a Graham Farish. So that's, again, it's such a long time ago when I recorded it. 5 weeks on, one of the viewers has reliably informed me that it is a Graham Farish. And as I went through the build, I did what I normally do, which is to strip it down, clean it, get it all prepped to go back on the track. When I put it back on the track, nothing happened. I then realised after a fair bit of time that it's running on insulated plastic wheels with metal tyres. So with it being a 3-rail pickup, obviously there's no current getting through. So I then went down a route of trial and error, trying to work through all the electrical problems on the loco to get it running. At least 3 or 4 times during that journey, which has been weeks, I've decided that I'm scrapping the loco. It's never going to run again. And each time I decide, right, that's it, goes in the scrap box. I then slept on it, came up with another idea, came back and tried it, and eventually I've got to the point where the loco is running. It is running, and on the straight track, on the test bed, runs up and down lovely. I made a new side to the tender, which I'm quite pleased with, looks pretty good, and again, up and down the track, really good. Took it round to my 3-rail layout, and when this runs across the points, when it runs around the corners, it's just very, very unreliable. It keeps coming off the track, and it obviously needs a little bit more tweaking, but I've spent so much time on it now. I think I'm going to park this for a little bit, and hence why I'm doing this video. And the video, like I say, there's not much continuity in it. I don't think it's a particularly good video, and my videos aren't the best anyway. But I thought it might be of interest to somebody. There's a lot of work gone into that. But I've missed most of the key section, which is all of the electrics. I do go through and explain what I've done and why I did it, but the actual method of doing it, I've not filmed any of that because, as I say, it went on for weeks, and yeah, it was quite a journey, really. So anyway, with that said, I'll let you watch the video, and yeah, please fast forward to the bits you want to see and enjoy it for what it is. Right, I've just pop that on the test track, apply some power, and we got nothing at all. So, not even wanting to move. So, yeah, a little bit of a challenge this one. Let's go and have a look what's inside. Well, as I say, I'm struggling to identify this, so if anybody knows what this could be, I'm just going to put my other glasses on and read what it says on the side. Right, so the loco is named, I still can't read it, it's too small. Let's try again. So the loco is named, it looks like Sir Eustace Missenden. Yeah, and obviously it's got the number 21C90 on there. There's no other markings on it that I can see that would identify the manufacturer of the train. So yeah, any ideas, please do let me know. Again, it's got the golden arrow and the flags on the front there, which does make me think that it probably is Marklin. Now, I have noted that there is damage on the tender, so I'm going to have to address that somehow. I'm going to have a little think about the best way to approach that, and yeah, going to need to do something down there. So put that to one side for now. Let's get the body off the train and see what we've got inside. I shouldn't really call it a train, should I? I should call it a loco. Well, if you look at the armature, there's a world of grime in there, so I think probably the best place to start is give it a good clean and take it from there. I am still shaking off the last bits of a cold, so please do bear with me. I am still shaking off the last little bits of a cold, so do bear with me. Still struggling a little bit with my voice, but we'll see how we go. Let's get that out of there. Take these off. Magnet's got absolutely nothing in it. Don't know what that bit's doing on the back there. Take that out. There's loads of grime in here, so it's not going to hurt to give it a good clean to start with. Right, that's the armature. Take the grub screw out. That's there. Armature out. I mean, yeah, look, bit of a state. Just push the brushes through. There's the brush. I haven't got the spring out yet. There's the spring. That's the other brush. Okay, right, I'm going to give this a good clean, and yeah, clean up those wheels as well, because I think that's not helping. And yeah, see where we take it from there. Now, right, let's get the armature cleaned up first. This is just something that somebody recommended to me. It's just a contact cleaner. It seems to be works quite well, actually. Yeah, the armature doesn't look too bad. Right, I'm just going to go and give this a clean, and I'll be right back. I don't know what I've managed to do, but I've managed to spill something on the floor of the garage, and my shoes are squeaking every time I move, so if you do a squeaking noise, I do apologise. Not quite sure what I've done there, but it's... Just get these are very light going over. There's a little bit of surface rust on a couple of places. I just want to take that off. Nothing too much. And I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on some of the moving parts here. And as you see, I'm not using 3-in-1, taking people's advice. This is actually a watch oil that I managed to get hold of. I've not sourced the Bachmann oils that were recommended yet, but I am looking into that. That's running lovely. There is a little bit of a sticking point somewhere. I'm not quite sure where that is. No, it's okay. Perfect. Right, let's get the armature back in. Right, that's back in. Right, good. Okay, so then brushes, I'll give those a little bit of a wipe over, and they can go back in. That's one of them. So okay, one spring at that end. One spring at that end. Right, and I'm just going to find another plug to go in there. Well, I've had a really good look through all my boxes and bits and pieces, and I don't seem to have another spare plug to go in to hold the spring. So I'm going to improvise tonight. I will get the proper part, but this here, this is comes in with servos. So if you buy a servo, just I've got one here. Let me just lift this across. So in the bag of bits for the servo, there's these little corners, sort of grommets that go in like a kind of rivet if you're going to rivet the servo in. So I've got one of those, which is just this brass bit here. I'm just going to squash that flat slightly, just to make it an oval shape, and then push that into the hole here. If it will go. Try again. needs to be squashed a bit more. And there you see, I'm just going to push that in. Perfect, that's staying exactly where I want it. Right, onto the magnet. So I'm going to put this back into the loco, and then use my remagnetizer to put some, I don't know whether you call it, would you call it energy? Put some energy back into the magnet, I don't know. I'll give this a bit of a clean first. Just clean the magnet off as well. Right, up to there, up to there. Slide that back into the loco. There we go. Get there in the end. Right, let's just do that back up. Right, using my trusty compass, let's take it out of the packet, find out which way is north. So that way round, that way is north. Bring in my remagnetizer, so it's marked north that way, so I just put the engine in between the two bits of metal here. And then I just push the button. So as always, I can do this off camera because it creates a big magnetic field. Don't want to damage my phone, don't want to damage my camera, so I'm just going to push the button and try and bring that magnet back to life. Right, now if I show you lifting this out, I mean these are really stuck to the magnet, so it's definitely done something. Right, let's go and give that a little test run and see if we've got any power through it now. So this is now over a month since I first started filming this video, and needless to say, this didn't work when I put it on the track, and it's been an absolute nightmare. It's become a labour of love actually, rather than the amount of hours I've put in on it probably hasn't been worth it. So I did stop filming because I was getting a little bit despondent, but I'll talk you through where I've gone with this. So put it on the track, nothing happened. Took me quite a while to realise that these are plastic wheels with metal rims, and therefore there's no current getting through. So step one, I don't know if you can see it on here, I'll just get something to point with. I'll use this little drill bit. I put a little piece of tin in here that you can just see through here, just to pick up on the tyres on this front set of wheels. So that then now gave me earthing to the chassis, so that's all fine and perfect. Put it back on the track. Now it's shorting out. So started with the pickup in the centre here, and this is what makes me believe that this probably wasn't a 3-rail to start with. This was somebody's conversion that they didn't get very far with. So with this pickup, you can see the little red tape underneath. I've put a thin layer of insulation tape to make sure this isn't shorting. That then worked. So now we come back up onto the top here, and it seemed to be shorting through the pin here. So I pulled the pin out. You can see the green tape there, just where I've insulated that. So now I've got it on the track and it's starting to move, but it's shorting at the back here. And what I noticed is this rear set of wheels was actually touching the armature and shorting through the armature. So rummaged through my scrap box, found an armature which was just about a millimetre higher on the base of the winding than the original one. So but drop that in, and there's still just not enough clearance. So I've gone ahead and bought some new Hornby West Country wheels, which are about, I'd say 2 millimetres in diameter less than the original ones that are on here. Drop those in, which meant a new axle, drilling out the body, put in a new pin through here because they attach in a different way. That's now given me just enough clearance so that these two clear. And yeah, it's got back together and it's running of sorts. So it's been a very long journey, lots of different twists and turns on the way. For example, these wheels, when I first got them, I was trying to, I made a collar to go inside here, and that didn't work, and in the end, as I say, I ended up replacing the axle Yeah, I think I'm there now. So with that said, let's take this over to the track before we fit the pony truck and the rear wheels on, and just see if this is running. Right, let's give this a go. While I'm holding the camera, I've not got it on a tripod, so I'm just going to run it back and forth down the test track, and you see it's quite a nice runner now. Not too bad at all. But as I say, it has been a real labour of love. I've spent so many hours in here. I mean, if you count the hours I've put, it's probably not been worth it. But pleased to say that I've managed to keep it on the 3-rail, managed to do the conversion. Now it's just putting the whole thing back together. Yeah, I stopped filming, so yeah, apologies for that. It just became so involved, and you know, I lost a little bit of footage, which then meant there was no continuity. And I was trying so many different things that weren't working, but I've got there in the end. So let's go and get this back and get it assembled. And obviously there's a little bit of work to do on the body and the tender, and hopefully get this running around the layout. Well, I don't know if this is going to work, but this side was all broken on the tender. So what I'm actually going to try and do is cast one of these out of fiberglass resin to replace the side that's missing. I don't know if it's, as I say, I don't know if it's going to work. We'll give it a go. So let's just push this into some modelling clay. Right. Right, if I lift that out, I'm rather hoping it'll leave a nice imprint. That's not too bad. I'm just going to push it down a little bit more. Right, let me mix up some resin. Okay, let's put a little bit of hardener in here. This is just fiberglass resin. In there, and got a paintbrush to mix it together. So I'm going to add a little bit more resin in there. It's very, very cold in here, so the resin's very thick. Not flowing very well. Right, let's mix this up again. That's more like it. Okay, pour it into my makeshift mould. Like that, put that over there, and this is just a little bit of glass matting just to go on the back there to give it some, hopefully give it a little bit of strength. Right, let's leave that to set. Shouldn't take too long. Might have to take it in the warm though. Well, it's the following day now, and I've just broken away the modelling clay and given this a bit of a clean up, and it's come out rather well. So if we just compare the two here, you can see I've actually captured quite a bit of the detail on there, which I'm quite pleased about. Now, obviously, it's going to be a reflection on the other side, so I'm going to drop this on here, and then I'm going to reintroduce part of the metal at the back here, just to try and capture the bumper beam. So next step, I'm going to clean this up and you know, get some flat edges on it and take away all the sort of over mold, and yeah, see if we can get this to fit. Well, that's cleaned up rather nicely, and that's going to look pretty good on there actually. It's Sorry, I got that the wrong way there. It's yeah, it looks better than I thought it would. So next step, I want to get rid of this pickup because it's no longer needed from what I've done on the engine. So let me just grab a screwdriver. Right, get rid of this centre pickup and put the wheel back in. So what I'm going to do with this, I think I'll just cut through here, and yeah, just mount that onto the part here. Let me have a look, see what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think I'll just cut through there and just glue that on. That should be sufficient. So I've just removed the buffer from there and cut that little piece off and just glued it on the end there. So put that to one side for now, so that because I'm going to paint all of this and ready for this again. Oh, one thing I do need to do, I do need to drill out the axle boxes so that the wheels will fit in. Right, let's see if we can get these drilled correctly. I'll use this as a template. That move wandered a little bit, that one. Don't want to go too deep. Right, let's have a look. So these ones are, let's have a look, it's about there. Yeah, tiny fraction more. Perfect. Okay, centre one. Finally this one at back here. Make sure I get it in the right place. More than enough, maybe a little bit more. Tiny bit more. Excellent. Right, move my drill out of the way. Move that drill bit as well. Right, I'm going to, what I think I'll do is obviously move the body out of the way so I don't overspray it. It's in lovely condition. And yeah, I think I'm going to dust this whole thing over. So repaint this chassis. I'll go and get this off in a minute. This is just where I took the imprint in the clay into the residue on there. Before I glue this on, I'll repaint those. I'm probably going to dust these wheels over just so that they're nice and fresh and black. Yeah, and bring in the other set of wheels there, and yeah, give this a quick spray, and then we can hopefully put it all back together and it will look the part. Bring in my board for spraying. Put these on here. 1, 2, 3. Make sure they're not rolling away. Right, let's give these a little dust over. Before I put this back together, I'll just show one more time. So I'm actually rather pleased with that. If I just bring that up to the camera. Now I do have a very slight bit of curvature in there, just because it when it set off in the clay, it was a little bit cold in here, and you can see that yeah, it's got a little bit of a curvature in it. The other thing you'll note on the main casting, you can see these holes here. I did think about cutting those out, and then I thought better of it. This is quite fragile, and yeah, I could see myself breaking it, so it's not going to be noticed, so I've left that alone. So with that, let's get this back together. So I'll just bring these wheels back in. We've got the 2 original wheels. I'll just push this in, if it will go. That's that one. And then I've got, it's a slightly smaller wheel, but that's all I've got, so I'm going to put that in for now. And yeah, maybe I'll change that at a later date. It should help it to get around the corners anyway, if that wheel's sort of floating a little bit. Right, I'm going to super glue this in place. So let's just put a tiny bit of glue on here. Okay, that's good. I'll just take the excess off. Right, and this is the activator for the super glue. I've mentioned these before. You pick this up from Tool Station, I think it is. You buy a nice big tube, a tub of super glue. Comes in different viscosities, and then you've got this activator that you can spray on, and obviously when it touches, it will go off rather quickly. So let's just put the 3 wheels in there. Right, it's not too bad. It's not perfect, but yeah, it looks all right. Looks all right. It's not bad at all. So I'm going to put that to one side. I've just given it a little dust over again because I've managed to get some fingerprints in the paint. So pop that to one side. Next job is to make the steps. Let me just. There it is. So on the body, I've actually given this a little bit of a wash, just with some soapy water. I will touch in the paint on the top here in a moment, but I'm missing one of these sort of deflectors on the side here. So I've just cut this out from a piece of brass. I'm just going to put, there's a little joggle in it, so I'm just going to put the joggle in there, and then we'll get this painted and get this put on. Okay, let's just do this final step, which is to glue this inside here. Like so. That doesn't look too out of place, does it? Get that little... So let me just tell you about the body. So the body doesn't appear to fit perfectly. Obviously the screw fixing here, there's a slot at the back. The slot doesn't tie up with the body. Now I could make a bracket for it, but because this is quite temperamental, I've run it a couple of times and it's a little bit, you know, constant adjustment if you like. So I'm going to leave it just the body resting on top so that I can take it off easily if I want to make any adjustments with it. But apart from that, I think that's just about done, and let's go and give it a run. Right, well, after an absolutely ridiculous journey to get here, let's see if it moves. Not too bad at all, really. Tender's come off the track. It's probably down to those wheels that were on there. Yeah, that's going to be a problem, isn't it? That keeps coming off. Right, let me have a little play and see if I can get that to stay on a little bit better. Right, a minor bit of adjustment. It's still not happy, but it is staying on the track now. Okay, let's go and take this round and run it on the 3-rail layout. given it a go around the track, and yeah, it is very temperamental. It is coming off the track quite considerably, mostly from the tender, probably where I made that side frame. So I need to keep my eye out for another southern tender if they do turn up, and replace that. But the engine itself's not too bad. It's not a bad runner. Certainly thunders around, and it's quite a weighty loco, which is quite nice. And it really does look the part on the 3-rail. So yeah, very pleased with that. Anyway, having spent so much time on this, I'm going to wrap this video up and put it up online, just in case it interests somebody. So with that said, if you enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up, and if you have a look at the channel, I've got lots of other videos like this on there. Some of them might take your interest, so if you can subscribe, I'd be grateful. And with that, we'll leave it there. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.